Hello again, everyone. It's been a long time since my last video, but today I'm back. We're gonna do a little feedback on the workshop. Alright, let's make it happen. So this is the workshop here. It was 10 questions. You had 1 hour to complete it. Alright, so let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is the first question. There's some times for shopping, I guess, and 18 different shoppers. The times for the 18 different shoppers are listed here in no particular order: 26, 23, 41, 38, etc. We have to make a histogram using the initial limit of 20.5 and a final limit of 45.5. And I have to have 5 classes with the same size. Okay? So there's a tool here where you can add and take away classes or whatever. So we know that the first number here, the initial limit, is 20.5. Okay, now we have to figure out the class width. Okay, and I think in some exercises they give you the class width, but here we have to figure it out. It says it has to be 5 classes. Okay, so we're gonna do here is divide up the total amount of space. Okay, so we know that we have 45.5 is the last limit, and the first one is 20.5, so that looks like a difference of 25, and we have to divide it up into 5 equal classes. So it looks like the class width is going to be 5. Okay, so that means that the next point is going to be 25.5, and we're going to go up 5 by 5. So the next one is going to be what is that, 30.5, right? And then 35.5, and then 40.5, and looks like we need one more interval, which is going to be the last one, 45.5. So those are the class intervals. Okay, and now we have to make the bars. Okay, so to make the bars, we have to count how many different numbers are in each class interval. So the first class interval is from 20.5 to 25.5. So what I'm going to do is go through the list and circle the numbers that are between 20.5 and 25.5. Okay, so 23 is 1. Let's see, 25, 22, 24, 24, 21, 21. Okay, let's see if I missed any. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so my first bar has to be 7 high. Okay, so I could do the same thing for the rest of the numbers, for the rest of the intervals. However, if you were paying attention to the videos, you could easily use the calculator to solve this problem. Okay, and what we do is simply write all the numbers. So 26, 23, 44, 41, 38, 35, 31, 28, 25, 22, 43, 40, 27, 27, 24, 24, 21, and 21. And it was 18, and we have 18 numbers, so it looks like it's all there. And now we're going to make a histogram with this. So we have to go into graph, settings. Okay, we're going to change this scatter to histogram. All right. We're going to use the X list, list 1, and the frequency as 1. Okay, so this is a little trick that I taught you back in the video about making histograms in the calculator. All right, so this is the raw data, and we can make a histogram. We click on graph 1, starting. So we start at 20.5. Okay, and the width is 5. And now we click on execute, and there is the histogram. Okay, so now we can click on shift, trace, and look at that. 7 is my first bar. 7. Let's look at the second one. It is 4, so we're gonna go up to 4. The next one is 2, so we can go up to 2. 2 again. Okay, it's all about knowing how to use the calculator. And the last one is 3. Okay, there we go. And that is the correct histogram. We already have the labels, the scale here, and we can't put a title on it, but we really should. But it's not part of the exercise here, so this is going to be the histogram. And look, they even put the little break, exactly like we did it in class. Okay. If we were using the TI-84, it's basically the same thing. We're going to type in the numbers here. So 26, 23, 44, 41, 38, 35, 31, 28, 25, 22, 43, 40, 27, 27, 24, 24, 21, and 21. And now we would go into stat plot, plot 1, turn on the plot. We're going to choose the bars, X list 1, frequency 1, and then we need to set the window. So the X min is going to be 20.5. The X max is going to be 45.5. The scale is 5. Remember, we're going up 5 by 5. Y min, I'm going to put 0. And the maximum, let's just leave it at 10. And then when we do the graph, there it is. And again, we can go to trace. And you see all the frequencies here where it says N. So 7, 4, 2, 2, and 3. The same thing that we got using the Casio. Okay? Let's take a look at the next question. So the next question is about graphing a frequency polygon. So it's the same idea. We have the time for some shoppers. I don't know if these are the same numbers. I don't think they are. They're different. Actually, there's 20 shoppers, and the last exercise it was only 18. So draw the frequency polygon using an initial limit of 20.5 and a class width of 5. Okay. Observe that you can add or take away classes. Okay, so here we're gonna have 20.5 and the class width is 5. Does it say how many classes? It doesn't. All right. So the highest number here looks like it's 44. So it has to be at least bigger than 44. Okay, so 20.5, 25.5, because the class width here, it says it's 5. Then 30.5, then 35.5, 40.5, and then 45.5. Okay, now here's where we might have got into a little bit of trouble, because if you did it like this, then you're going to have a small mistake, and it's that the frequency polygon is not drawn over the limits, it's drawn over the class marks. So we have to figure out what the class marks are. So I'm going to use the calculator again for this part. Okay, so let's erase the data that I have. Delete all, yes. Okay, so now let's copy the intervals here. So 20.5, 25.5, 30.5, 35.5, 40.5, and 45. I think I made a mistake on the last one. 45.5. And what we do is now the upper limits. So we're gonna take the list one, and we're gonna add 5 because the class width is 5. There it is. So 25.5, 30.5, 35.5, and everything looks perfect. Actually, I think that we don't need that last one, because the highest number is 44. So we don't need anything between 45 and 50. So I'm going to delete that last one. Okay, and now we're going to figure out the class mark, which is what I need. So list 1 plus list 2 divided by 2. There it is. So these are the class marks. So these are the numbers that need to go on your graph, not the other ones. So the first one is 23. Then we have 28. Then we have 33. Then 38. Okay, let's see what's next. 43 is the last one. 43. All right, and we're going to erase that last one. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different classes. Now this is the important part again, because if you leave the limits like 20.5, then that's incorrect, because remember that the frequency polygon is graphed on top of the class marks, which are these numbers. Okay, so now I can figure out the frequencies. So where does the point go over the class marks? So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to make the histogram. So I'm going to type in the numbers: 26, 23, 44, 41, 38, 35, 31, 28, 25, 22, 27, 27, 24, 24, 21, 21, 21, 43, 43, and 43. Okay, so that's 20 different shoppers. All right, and I'm going to do the histogram again. So I'm going to go into graph. I need to change the settings. Okay, it's already in histogram, but I'm not using list 1. I'm using list 4. Okay, that's where I saved the raw data, list 4. Okay, so now graph. We start at 20.5, and the class width is 5. Execute. Now I do want to check something. Okay, 30. This number's wrong. This should be 31. Sorry about that. 31. I caught it because the minimum when I was doing the graph. So 35, 30. I'm sorry, 31, and then 28. Okay, there we go. Let's see. I think the rest of them are correct. All right, I caught it because when I went to the graph, it says started at 3, and it always picks the minimum, so that's why I caught it. So 20.5, and then the class width is 5. Okay, there we go. So now we have it. So shift trace 8, 4, 2, 1, 5. So the first over the class mark is going to be at 8. Okay, now the next one is going to be at 4. Then the next one is going to be at 2. Let's see, the next one is at 1. Okay, and you could do it by hand, but why would you when you have the calculator, right? And the last one is 5. That's your frequency polygon right there. Okay, and I think the biggest mistake a lot of you made might have been not to use the class marks here in the bottom. Okay, so now we're good. Let's look at the next one. All right, in the next question, we have a store with 7 dogs. And these are the weights in kilograms. Calculate the mean. Remember we talked about media, it's mean of the dogs. And if necessary, round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so I'm sure everybody knows how to do the mean, which is to add up the numbers and then divide by the number of numbers. Okay, but you could also just use the calculator. So 16, 7, 11, 12, 14, 9, and 11. So it's 7 dogs, and then just go into calc, settings, list 1, 1. So I also showed you guys how to do this in another video. This is the 1var stats for raw data, and the mean is 11.42. Okay, 11.42. And you can do the same thing in the TI. Okay, just do the 1var stats, but use the frequency as 1. You could just as easily have done the sum, 16 plus 7 plus 11 plus 12 plus 14 plus 9 plus 11, and then divide by 7 dogs. 11.42. All right, now I do have a little mistake here, and it's that I have to round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so the nearest tenth is the first decimal place, so it's just going to be 11.4. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, each one of 8 dogs in a store was weighed. Here are the weights in kilograms. Again, find the mean and the median of the dogs. If necessary, round the answers to the nearest tenth. So same exercise, but now I have to find the mean and the median as well. So I'm just going to use the calculator for that, because it will give me both. Of course, you guys need to know that you have to organize the data and stuff, but if you use the calculator, you can skip all that. So 13, 14, 6, 10, 11, 9, 15, and 7. Okay, so now we're going to go into calc, 1var stats. The mean is 10.6. 10.6, and the median is 10.5. So the calculator does everything. If you knew how to use the calculator well, if you guys watched the videos and paid attention to how to do it, all of this stuff should have been easier. Let's see. So the next list has the number of brothers that each of 11 students has. We have to find the modes. If there's more than one, then separate them with commas. All right. So we can do the same thing, because the calculator also finds the mode. Look at that. It finds the modes, right? So we can type in the exercise in the calculator, but the mode is, I think, a little bit simpler. Let's just look at it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 threes. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 2s. So it looks like the mode is 3 and 2. Okay, so let's count again to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4 3s. 1, 2, 3, and 4 2s. And there's only 2 1s and 1 0. So there's 4 3s and 4 2s. So it's a bimodal set of numbers. So there's 2 modes in this case. You could do it again. The calculator will give you the information, but this one was just a little bit too simple. All right, so there's the number of points that a student missed in each math test. The results are below. The results of the last 9 tests are below. Okay, so find the mode and find the range. The mode is the one that repeats the most. That one looks pretty simple. Looks like it's 3. Right? So the mode is 3. Is the number that repeats the most. And the range is the minimum, the maximum minus the minimum. The maximum is 9. The minimum is 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. Okay. Salesperson sells automobiles, and he has 5 used automobiles. The mean price is $62,000. What is the total price of the 5 automobiles? Okay, so we're gonna do a little math on this one. Okay, so to find the mean, I know that I would have to take the sum of the 5 automobiles and divide it by 5 because it's 5 automobiles, and this will give me the mean, which is 62,000. Right? So now they're asking me what is the total price of the 5 automobiles. So I have to find what is the sum. So if the sum is, if when you divide the sum by 5, you get 62,000, then to find the total sum, we're going to use inverse operations and just multiply 62,000 by 5. Okay, and that will give me the total sum. All right. So I think last year you guys worked on one-step equations. Okay, to isolate the sum, all we do is multiply by 5 on both sides. Okay, so 62,000 multiplied by 5. And Alex gives you a calculator here. You can actually use it. 62 times, or 62,000 rather, times 5. Looks like 310,000. Okay. Let's count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there it is. Let's just double check. I'm always... Okay, so looks like it's right. All right, question 8. An investment company announces last year to their clients that last year the mean obtained in earnings is 8%. Supposing that the mean is used as the average, what of the following statements is true? Okay, so the mean is 8% of last year's earnings. Okay, so we have to figure out, there's a couple statements and we have to figure out which one is correct. Okay, so last year the number of clients that obtained earnings of 8% or less was equal to the number of clients that obtained 8% or more. Okay, this is not true. This would be true if they were using the median. If this was median instead of mean, then this would be true. Okay, but it's not. Last year, all of the clients obtained earnings of at least 8%. If everybody got at least 8%, then the mean wouldn't be 8%. It would be greater. So this is not true. Okay. Last year, some clients obtained earnings of exactly 8%. That could be the case, but there's no way to conclude that. All right. That may or may not be true. So it doesn't necessarily have to be true. If you only have 2 clients, and one of them has earnings of 7% and the other one has earnings of 9%, then the average is 8. So the mean is 8. So this is not true. Last year, at least one of the clients obtained earnings of greater than 4%. At least one obtained earnings of more than 4%. That has to be true. Because if everybody was below 4%, then the mean couldn't be 8. Doesn't make any sense. This one has got to be true. And 2 years ago, at least one client obtained earnings of at least 8%. That's not true. Because all the information is about last year. We don't have no idea. We have no idea about what happened 2 years ago. There's no way to know. Okay? So it looks like the only true one is this one. Last year, at least one of the clients obtained earnings of more than 4%. Okay, and that has to be true because if no one obtained earnings of more than 4%, the mean couldn't be 8. Okay, if I have a list of numbers and they're all less than 4, then the mean of those numbers can't be 8, right? It has to be less than 4. So it looks like this one is the only true one. Okay, so let's go over it again. Half the clients are below 8%, half the clients above 8%. Not true. This is true for the median. If this was the median, then yes, because the median is the middle number. Okay, but the mean is not necessarily the middle number, so this is not necessarily true. Last year, all of the clients obtained earnings of at least 8%. Not true. Okay, because if for example, if I have a client that has 8% and one that has 9%, then the average is not 8%. Okay, so this is not necessarily true. Last year, some clients obtained earnings of exactly 8%. Again, not true. I can have somebody who made 7%, somebody who made 8%, and the mean is, somebody who made 9%, and the mean between 7 and 9 is 8. So the only true one is just this one. Let's look at the next question. Okay, so I think we have to figure out which measure of central tendency that we should use. Okay, 9 participants in an experiment obtained the following results. The following times of reaction. Okay, so 777, 790, 807, 812, 813, 814, 821, 825, and 1116. So what measure is best for the data? The median. Okay, because 1116 is an unusual data number. It's an outlier. Okay, if you look at the rest of the numbers, they're all close to 800. All of them are really close to 800. They're like 25 above or 25 below 800, except for this one. This one is a lot bigger compared to the rest. So this one's an outlier. So for the ones that have outliers, median. Okay. Emmanuel registered the number of kilometers he drove in the last 9 weeks. So 395, 399, 408, 410, 412, 413, 414, 416, 417. So we're going to use the mean for this one because all the numbers are very similar. They're all really close to 400. Okay, they're all very similar, and we don't have a number that's really different from the rest. Okay, if we had a number here like 800, then that would be an outlier, or a number like, I don't know, like 50 or 100, something like that. Okay, so remember, outliers are numbers that are extremely different from the rest. Okay, so here they're all very similar, but in the first data set, the one that we did just before, They're all very similar except for this one. So this is an outlier, and when we have outliers, we want to use the median. Okay. A journalist registered the qualification A, B, B15, or C for each movie in theaters last year. So what is the most what is the measure for the most common, the mode? Okay, and the mode is used for this type of non-quantitative data or qualitative data. Okay, so these classifications or qualifications it's qualitative. Okay, it's qualitative. Last question. Okay, the monthly salary in pesos of 8 employees of a small company are shown below. So 7330, 7600, 7900, 8000, 8580, 8840, 8970, and 10,380. Suppose that the salary changes, the last one, the 10,380 changes to 7,820. And what happens to the mean? What happens to the median? All right. So we can use the calculator for this one. So what I'm going to do is write both data sets and then calculate the 1 bar stats for each one. So 7330, 7600, 7900, 8000, 8580, 8840, 8970, 10, 380. Whoops, 10, 380. Okay, so, and then in list 2, I'm just going to copy what's in list 1. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go down to that last one and change it to 7820. Okay, so let's do 1 bar stats. Calc. All right, let's do the first list. Okay, so the first list, the mean is 8450. Now let's do list number 2. The mean is 8130. Okay, so it was 8450 and now it's 8130. So it went down. Okay, so 8430. Whoops, 8430 I think was the initial one, and this one is 8130. I'm gonna go back and check that because I don't remember it. So settings. Let's do the list for list 1. 8450. 8450. Okay, so it went down by 320. So 320. There we go. And what happens to the median? So let's look at the median. So this is 8450 is the first is the one with 10,380. The median is 8290. So let's write that here. 8290. Okay, and 8290. And let's check for list 2 for the one with the changed number to 7820. And the median in this one is 7950. So it also changes. 7950. They both went down. And this one goes down by 340. Okay, but they might have been the same or they might have gone up. You have to analyze whatever it is. Okay. And there you go. That's it. That's the last question. Okay, guys. Make sure you watch the video carefully. If you have any questions, let me know. And we can do a tutoring session, all right? Till next time. Bye.